All right, here we go, guys. And we finally did our taxes for 2021. I shouldn't say I finally did my taxes. What I finally did was actually submit my taxes to my accountant, or all my paperwork, that is, for my taxes for 2021, including my charter business end of the year 2021 LLC information. That's my costs, my expenses, and more importantly, the income I earned from being a part-time charter fishing captain in 2021. And we're going to go through those numbers in a second. Again, a tough year. We eked out a profit, but it was tough. And really thinking ahead to 2022, I think the thing that's probably on everyone's mind, and not just commercial fishermen, not just charter captains, but recreational anglers as well, is the gas prices. And if we take a look, I'm filming this on March 26th. The average price for a gallon of gas in New York State, that's where I'm based, I'm in Eastern Long Island, it's just out of control. It's $4.35 a gallon. Diesel's even more, over $5.20 a gallon, close to $5.30 a gallon. And really the question is, number one, from a selfish commercial charter boat perspective, what am I going to do about that? And number two, for the rec guys out there, and I recreational fish as well, how is that going to impact your boating season, your fishing season? So let's talk about me specifically. Back in December, I actually raised my prices a drop. I hadn't raised my prices since I started the business back in 2019. I eked them up a little. This is before the craziness with the gas. I increased my ocean runs, which are anywhere from 80 miles round trip if I'm going to Montauk, including all the moving around. It's about 35 miles to the spots we fish, to 100 miles. It's a 45-mile run for me to Block Island. We do a lot of trips in Block Island, so I'm burning a lot of gas. A block run is easily 90 gallons, and that's a lot of money to be spending on gas. But even before, like I said, the prices were raised, I did increase my prices a little bit. If you go to my website, we'll have a screenshot of that here. You'll see that the cost of an ocean trip is now $1,300, and I nominally raised inshore charters. And what I did with inshore charters is I added a small fee for every angler after 4 anglers. And what am I going to do about gas prices effective 2022? And am I going to change anything with my pricing? Right now, the answer is no. It is what it is. My stock answer on the gas prices to anybody who wants to talk to me about it is, look, we live in a capitalist society, and I'm a capitalist for sure. I work in financial services 5 days a week. I do the chartering on the side. And people forget that gas is a commodity. It's not, if you want the government to control your gas prices, move to Venezuela, pay 10 cents a gallon for gas, because there's no free market there. It's not a private industry. It's owned by the government. They control the prices. We don't want that. And part of living in a capitalist society where something is commoditized like gas is, world events sometimes dictate prices go up. I'm certain at some point they'll come down, and in the interim we'll deal with it and we'll see how it goes. And again, this is my opinion only. Obviously, I'm not a geopolitical expert, a natural gas or gas oil expert. This is just how I feel. So with that aside, let's dive right into the 2022 or 2021 breakdown of our costs and expenses and what we did. And again, I have an LLC set up that flows into my personal return. It's part and parcel of my personal return at the end of the year. So this is the information, including all the backup that I supplied my accountant. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Let's pull up the spreadsheet. All right, and you see the spreadsheet is up now. And from an expense perspective, we had an interesting year. A lot of expenses, 30,723. And look, part of that was the cost of my dock, 6,250. That that represents, oh boy, math is not my strong suit, but I think 6 into 30, that's about, is that 20%? 6 times 5 is 30, right? Yeah, 30. So about 20% of my total expenses alone were the dock slip. The spring commissioning, North Shore Yacht Sales, that was $33.70. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, my good buddy Michael Hughes, aka Red, who owned North Shore Yacht Sales, he sold out. He sold the business to Strong's Marine in I believe September of 2021, and you'll see further down that my winterization and winter storage this year was with Albertsons. They're a Merck dealer. I trust them. But the price was significantly more than I typically pay at Reds. That was a $5,000 charge, 5,008 spot 09 to be exact. But again, it is what it is. I wish I had the time, and I wish I was handy enough to do my own work. I wish I had the facility to store a boat. I don't. I wish I had a truck that could pull a 12,000 pound boat. I don't. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where, yes, the expense is crazy, but trying to fix it or trying to remediate that crazy expense is probably more expensive and more time consuming and would be a bigger headache for me personally than, just bucking up and paying it. And I get it. There's guys out there that do their own work. My good friend John Sweeney would never pay $5,000 for anything on his boat. He's really mechanically inclined. I'm not. That's one of the sad facts. Some other expenses for the year. The charter license. Every year I pay $250 to New York State. My insurance went up a drop. I believe it was $1940 last year. Went up $100, $2,040. And remember, that is commercial insurance. That is for the charter business. So it's going to be a little more than what a recreational angler in New York pays. Now, Florida guys might say, wow, that's a great place. I paid double that for recreational boat insurance in Florida. And that's because, from a boat theft, engine theft perspective, New York tends to be a little safer than Florida. That's a big problem, especially in South Florida. And also the boating season is condensed up north, right? We typically don't drive our boats in December, January, February, whereas in Florida, it's really a full year season. And then we get into, mostly gas. You'll see $1,300 gas. Again, $1,399 gas. I did have to pay a summer trailer storage fee of $271. That's reasonable. Boat repair. I had an electrical issue, and also I was, getting close to 100 hours for the year. That was at Albertsons. That was $1,700 to diagnose and fix that electrical issue that I tried my darndest to figure out. And it at the end of the day, it wound up being something I never would have figured out. It had something to do with the way the fuse box was wired into the boat. It was wired into the battery switches. It should have been hardwired to the batteries themselves, the starting batteries. That's how it comes from CV. The guys at Albertson spent many hours figuring that out. Simple fix. No issues since they fixed that. And then more gas expenses, $2,259, $2,400, $750. And then I am able to deduct the interest that I paid on the boat. So that's about $3,500. So the total expenses came out to $30,723. That represented 32 charters last year. I did use the boat recreationally a handful of times, probably 5 to 6 times. And I did on 2 occasions pay for gas on my personal credit card, not on my company credit card, just in case the IRS ever came knocking. I could at least evidence that, hey, when I did use the boat recreationally, I paid for my own gas. And on the income side, we did okay considering it's part-time. We made $30,853.05. So net profit of about $123 or so, or $120, pardon me. It looks like maybe on the dot, no, $130. Again, math is not my strong suit. So about $130 profit. And why that was important to me was my accountant, and anybody looking to do this part-time, especially if you have a full-time job, one of the things the IRS doesn't want to see, and this is what my accountant has stressed to me repeatedly, is they don't want to see people operating charter businesses, having a full-time job where they're fairly well compensated, and claiming losses with their charter business, because to the IRS then it looks like, hey, this is my hobby, and I'm trying to subsidize my hobby by, starting this sham charter business. I assure you, with me, it's not a sham. My goal is to eventually retire early. I'm 50 years old, retire early and do this full time. I've talked to some of you about my life strategies. I'm a big saver. I believe in maxing out your 401k, putting money aside into brokerage accounts, investing in stocks, not selling for the sake of selling. Let that money grow. And my goal has been and always will be save as much money as I can, do this full time, live basically paycheck to paycheck off this while my assets work in the background, increasing year after year, so that when I am finally ready to fully retire, I'll have a nice nest egg. So there you go. End of the year, I made about $100. But, this is a marathon, not a sprint. That's how I look at it. I look at this as, struggles right now with the goal that in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whenever it is, and I do this full time, that this number will be a lot higher. The expenses, a lot of them which are fixed, like the doc fee, that profit margin will increase significantly. But we'll see. Famous last words. And again, for 2022, right now, the outlook is not great. The gas prices are I was paying $4.89 last year at the dock. My presumption is I'm going to be close, if not over that like $7 range. The gas on the water is always more expensive. I don't have a lot of options near me. I have two exactly, and they were both at $4.89 last year. I'm expecting $6.89 this year, but I don't know yet. We shall see. And then interestingly, my dock fee, as you'll see right here, last year was $62.50. This year, it's going to be $72.50. I've already paid it. So I'm already $7,250 plus the $250 for the New York State charter license. So for 2022, I'm already $7,500 in the hole before I've had my first charter. But fingers crossed, we'll have a good season. People will have fun. I'll have fun. And that's what it's all about. It's about having fun. It's about putting people on fish, creating memories. There you go. The 2021 year-end charter business summary. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you like these videos, please hit that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber and you like content like this, please consider subscribing.